In order to understand autism, it's vital to understand the normal developmental process. And so what I want to do is take a few moments to provide you with the context for our regular way of navigating through our social worlds that most of us tend to take for granted. You know, it's important to understand that many of the skills that we acquire, nobody taught us, and yet most of us don't reflect upon how is it that we know how to engage others, how to move through diverse environmental situations, and how do we grasp and intuit what others expect of us and convey messages about what they might expect from us. You know, autistic individuals present often with difficulties we call social cognition or mind blindness problems. That results in an informal breach of the acquisition of these skills that allow all of us to have positive and successful social experiences with others. Our understanding of ourself in relation to others generally guide our behavior throughout the course of the day. While most children learn these skills spontaneously, kids with autism do not acquire these skills intuitively. You know, the implicit program of social learning that most of us acquire unspeakingly is something that is problematic and difficult for individuals along the autistic spectrum. At an early age, children without developmental disabilities or along the autistic spectrum are able to read others quite readily and begin to construe social meaning not because they're taught, but because they acquire that information on their own. They look at others, they interpret others' emotional responses to what they say or do, and they begin to become a part of our culture of shared meaning and shared feelings and understandings with others. You know, as the result of this interest in others, we all begin to develop a sense of mutuality and the establishment of reciprocal skills that allow us not only to know how to initiate contact with others, but how to respond to the initiatives others make toward us. We have an idea of others' motivations and intentions. We begin to grasp that they have thoughts and feelings and agendas of their own, and we begin to move through the world in a knowing manner that makes us increasingly socially savvy as we mature and grow. You know, acquiring social judgment and basic common sense is a very, very complex process. It's not something that occurs overnight, but for most children, you can see this as the developmental process that occurs as the result of extending their behavioral repertoire and exposing them to diverse social situations. Kids with autism do not acquire these skills unless they're formally taught. Language skills, social skills, adaptive behavior for coping with the environment and others around oneself, these are the skills that are often lacking to varying degrees for individuals with varying forms of autism, and these are the skills that interventions are directly focused upon. You know, developing a shared social understanding with those whom you live with really gives you entrance to the community and plays a pivotal role not just during early childhood, but through one's transition into adulthood and full integration in the community as a mature adult who has responsibilities to both oneself, one's family, and other community members. So, what I wanted to do today was to begin first to give you some idea of what it's like not to develop this shared sense of social experience and how this impacts the developmental process of individuals with autism, how it affects their understanding of themselves and others, and how this correlates initially with the DSM-4 diagnostic criteria that we utilize to determine whether or not an individual presents with a developmental difficulty that we call autism.